Good evening, everyone. It is day two, or actually, I guess it's officially day one of the Super Bowl outreach. Yesterday was just a travel day, so today we rolled into town at about 10:30 in the morning. Got here and got everything situated. Had a little lunch and everything. Had an encounter with a guy who was poor and looking for some help. Or at least he was making some claims of being poor, looking for help. His wife was in the hospital, and the hospital would feed her but not him, and he was asking for money. And we were walking with our food to go. I offered it to him, thinking, well, this will see if he's looking for money for booze or actually is hungry. And he took the food and was very thankful and everything. So I was glad to take part in that. The training today, you would think that a that training for a bunch of street preachers, that we would hear a whole lot of just kind of hoorah stuff about open air preaching and street evangelism and staying strong and fighting temptation and all of these things. But we had five speakers today. Only one of them spoke on itinerant ministry. His name is Robert Gray. And he gave his testimony and how he got into itinerant ministry and the things that he's doing and some of the how-tos and how to know if God is putting that call on you. It was an outstanding discussion, but pretty much everything else was about the importance. Andrew Rappaport was the first speaker. He spoke on how to operate a discipleship ministry, and he was talking about the importance of when you are doing discipleship, the willingness to learn from the person that you are discipling. And he gave an example of this girl with cerebral palsy that he was ministering to, and he thought he was going to be able to pour a whole bunch of wisdom into her, and that he would be helping her mom so she could go out and get shopping and errands done while she was out while he was there taking care of his daughter. And he said he learned more about faith and spending time with this girl with cerebral palsy who had the mind of a 6-year-old. He learned more about prayer and faith than what anyone has ever taught him before. And he said that he was with her at, I can't remember if it was a church or some event or something, and he said, well, this famous athlete came in with a girl on each arm and wearing a fur jacket and everything, and he was greeting people, and he was clearly the center of attention as he walked in the room. And he came up to the girl in the wheelchair with cerebral palsy, and it turns out it was Deion Sanders, and she was his cousin. And she said, he leaned down to say hello, and she looked up at him and said, cousin Deion, when are you going to repent of your sin and trust Jesus Christ? And he heard, I don't know this, but he heard that Deion Sanders has become a born-again Christian, and he believes that it's because of her faithful witness and that she spent time in prayer for him every single day. It was one of at the top of her prayer list, so that was an outstanding testimony. And he also talked about the need for basically three-way discipleship. If we're in discipleship relationships, that we should be reaching down to raise other men up, and that we should be raising up to have other men lifting us up and discipling us as well. So that was awesome. Michael Coughlin, who happens to be my team leader, he spoke on some of the pitfalls that street evangelists tend to fall into with finding dissatisfaction within their church, and how we need to remain faithful to our churches and avoid the temptations of becoming a critic and things like that, and just how to be grace-filled and loving to that end, and just being faithful in the small things. And Rick Skeens, he's another leader here, and he spoke on loving your wife as Christ loved the church. And he gave a great illustration. I won't get into it, but it was a very wonderful, edifying talk. And like I say, it's you would think that this would be just a big hoorah, let's go, shout the gospels from the rooftops of New Orleans and stuff, but it was really all about the importance of what we're doing here in fulfilling the Great Commission is building the church. And the last speaker, I don't remember his name, but he was a Baptist pastor, and he preached on the Great Commission, and he said a couple of things. Let me grab my Bible here. He said a couple of things that were very outstanding. He said, the Great Commission was not given to the apostles only, but they were given to the apostles foundationally. And he said that the Great Commission is the foundation of the church, built on the 11 apostles and Paul, of course, and was just talking about the importance of remembering the four parts of the Great Commission, and he got into it. I recorded all of these speeches. I'll probably somehow I might put them on my blog or YouTube channel if I can get their permission to do that. But of course, his main text for the Great Commission was Matthew 28:19 and 20, and said that the gospel or the Great Commission is four parts primarily. He said going, he said that's pretty much our part, is that we go, and he said you have to make disciples, baptize, and then verse 20 you have to teach. And he said these are all things that no individual can possibly do. It requires the work of the entire body of the church, of pastors, elders, lay leaders, and people within the church ministry. So he said, for example, a new believer can't possibly be expected to do all four of these things. So he said that it's ridiculous that someone would try to do this outside of the authority of their church. So it was an outstanding talk. He spoke for about 55 minutes, and I think pretty much everyone was on the edge of their chair the whole time. So it was really edifying, really outstanding teaching. Also, all of us who are attending the Super Bowl outreach, John MacArthur, his ministry, Grace to You, we all received a John MacArthur Study Bible, NASB. So I've been wanting one of these forever, so this is a very wonderful and unexpected gift, which I look forward to getting a lot of use out of. The schedule tomorrow is basically breakfast, more training from the same pastor who spoke to us tonight. Then we're going down to Canal Street. We have 10 teams that are going to be descending on Canal Street and preaching basically from lunchtime till 10 o'clock at night. There's probably 10 to 12 people on a team, so the workload will be evenly split. The gospel tracks that we have are fantastic. I have some really good footage of them. There's probably 150 to 250,000 gospel tracts on site in a big piles on in the church and in a separate room and stuff, and they're just outstanding. So I look forward to sharing that video with you. I appreciate you keeping me in your prayers, and of course the Evangel Ape says good night. God bless you.